Hi everyone. First of all, a warm welcome and thank you for participating in our presentation. My name is Bastian Elsner and I'm happy to present to you one of our newest solutions. Today's topic is a high degree of automation with low integration costs and how to simplify project integration with the CasaConnect KNX from Elsner Elektronik. Let's waste no time and get right into it. In the contract sector and also in private houses, there are a large number of requirements for building technology. The basis are requirements of the national and international legislators. As an example, the European standard 15232, in which it is clearly defined how daylight is to use, in the area of lighting control and in the area of sun automation. For example, sun, glare, and heat protection with safety aspects such as escape routes. Ventilation, natural ventilation, mechanical ventilation, and individual room control are clearly defined by the standard according to the classification in energy efficiency classes A to D. D corresponds to red, which is no longer acceptable today, and A would be green, so the best solution. Detached from the requirements of the legislature, the automation advantages in defined areas bring significant advantages for property developers and the user itself. For example, you can save a large number of caretaker activities within a day due to automation. In addition, there are requirements in the area of security, reporting, and monitoring systems, as well as safety shutdown or even press simulation. An example of this would be a fault message from an elevator, or the safety shutdown, where consumers are disconnected from the network outside of operating hours, which is also an energy saving aspect, which is one of the most important aspects nowadays. Energy management in building automation. To put it simple, energy savings, energy efficiency. A high degree of automation fosters energy efficiency in buildings. Some more examples for that later on within this presentation. Convenient operation is key and can be used immediately as an add-on without additional integration. Visualizations and remote diagnosis. Clearly, a post system has to be fundamentally adaptable and expandable. In reality, those requirements are often not implemented for cost or time reasons. In this case, a solution for this rather significant problem would be a high degree of automation, implemented through reduced integration effort in terms of cost and time. Furthermore, a future-proof system must be used, which is also sustainable. The flexibility must be maintained so that the integrator and even the end user can also make changes and fulfill their wishes within the system. Finally, the system must be clearly visualized for all purposes. This is where the CasaConnect KNX is used as the central core in the KNX system, with a clear menu for the basic and automatic settings, as well as quick and easy integration into the ETS. No additional tools are necessary. This is very important because the new system can still be used when the system is changed or when there is a new ETS version. A new ETS version like we're gonna get within a couple of months. In addition, the CasaConnect system is a cost-effective solution. Moreover, the Casa is 100% cloud-free and transparent. For many customers, cloud-free applications are an important aspect for the use of systems in their private homes. Transparency in relation to the automatic blocks that have been developed and improved over the years, which are also integrated within the CasaConnect. Let's talk a bit about the function of the building control center. The CasaConnect itself has the flexibility that the end user can adapt the texts symbols, and icons himself. Manual operation can also be activated and selected using this button. There is also the option of setting up your own subject areas at any time. As an example, floors, rooms, or even function-related areas. One of the great advantages of the CasaConnect system is the block automatic settings, alarm handler, time management, and the presence simulation. Regarding the automatics, there are the automatic blocks for shading systems, window automation, lighting automation with on, off, dimming, RGB, and RGBW, or tunable light. In the heating cooling area, the integration is generated as an extension. Mechanical ventilation can be operated and automated in the same way. The presence simulation can simply be activated. A wireless LAN, or alternatively a wired LAN connection, is integrated into the CasaConnect. The CasaConnect can be controlled and managed via the app using a mobile phone or tablet. Error messages can be communicated via email notifications. Up to 16 addresses can be stored within the Casa. Remote diagnosis is possible via the TeamViewer. To start a remote diagnosis, access must be granted on the device itself. This means that a CasaConnect cannot be accessed externally without confirmation on the device itself. The data is all stored locally in the device. No cloud is needed and no cloud is used. Customizations of the text, of the symbols, and also the function areas are all saved on the device locally. Let's get into an application example. The blind on the south window. Automatic sun shading can reduce the energy and costs for cooling by 75%. You might need an air conditioner, but you don't need it that much with the automatic sun shading. Let's get into this example. The CasaConnect is the core of the system. A weather station which sends measured values via the bus is required for this. An indoor sensor, for example, to use the solar heat in this application example. In addition, at least a 1-channel blind actuator, or, as in our case, a 4-channel blind actuator is required. As well as a system device power supply and a 24-volt DC supply unit for supplying the weather station and the CasaConnect is needed. The weather station provides the necessary measured values such as outside temperature, wind speed, brightness, and precipitation. The date and time are synchronized via GPS. In the best case, also assembles coordinates for calculating the position of the sun. Let's have a look in how to set up an ETS project with the CasaConnect as a central unit. Here in this block diagram, we can see the information about the quick and easy integration. On the left is the weather station, which sends the necessary data such as date, time, outside temperature, wind speed, precipitation, and brightness to the CasaConnect. In our example, the room temperature sensor supplies the room interior temperature in order to use the solar heat to position the shading as soon as the room temperature is reached. We are talking here about simple integration because all the system integrator has to do is to connect 7 communication objects from the controller to the actuator. A blocking object can also be activated if required. Such a blocking object can be a window contact, whereby activation is accordingly prevented with an open window or an open door. The information can be displayed to the user as an icon on the CasaConnect. The automatic lock enables that no automatic is carried out when individuals are present. The manual automatic mode allows the user to control groups manually. After a predefined time, the CasaConnect will jump back into the automatic mode. How to activate blocks for blinds. In the ETS application, the first step is under block A to activate the drive. The CasaConnect has a maximum of 80 drive blocks. In this example, we are using channel 1 as drive 1. The fields can of course be labeled, and we could also write blind south here. In addition, a suitable symbol can be selected via the symbol library. The 2 points mentioned above can also be adapted by the customer in the CasaConnect without the need of even touching the ETS. In addition, we need an input for the room temperature. A maximum of 120 input channels are available in the CasaConnect. In our example, we only need the temperature. But the inputs can be just as easily be activated for CO2 or humidity, just as a couple examples. Let's check the set automation on the display of the CasaConnect. Here you can see the start page after loading the CasaConnect application. If internet access is activated, we also have the option of surfing on the internet or creating a bookmark. The 5 speakers integrated in the device can also be set via the start page. The date and time is recorded via the weather station and visualized via the CasaConnect, as you can see here on the main page. The alarm handler is shown to the far right, top far right. Currently, there are no alarms. In addition, information on the current weather situation, such as retrieved outside and inside temperature, as well as brightness and the position of the sun, are displayed on the starting page. If a drive is selected via manual, you have a slider here to go directly to different positions. In addition, the status information on where the drive is located can be called up via the slider. At the moment, we are on automatic with this drive. Various conditions, which we will look at in more detail below, are set in the automatic mode. The set brightness is currently exceeded, and the hourglass indicates that the time for the extension delay is running out. The direction of the sun and the altitude that have been activated are fulfilled, and this symbol is displayed. In the event of wind, rain, or frost alarm, the corresponding symbols appear here, and the operation is then blocked, and the manual control buttons are hidden. Here are the symbols we were just talking about. On the next slide, we can see the automatic position that is being approached after the extension delay time had expired. The target positions will be almost identical to the actual positions. Slight differences may occur, and they can be caused by parameter settings of the actuators. Via the button Automating Settings, we can move on to the automatic parameters for each respective group and for each drive. Among other things, the illuminance from which shading should take place, adjustable via a slider. You can also set never. For example, that could be the basic setting, and if necessary, you can switch to brightness dependent for the shading control. Always shading would mean that the position is closed during the day and the slats move to 50% and close completely at night. The direction of the sun is a point where you can directly call up south via the opening angles. Those are specified by us and default settings. Alternatively, the start and the end angle can be adapted to the facade. The height of the sun is also freely adjustable for each drive group or drive output. In this example, shading would start when the sun is 10 degrees above the horizon. The area of application here is, for example, on facades which are influenced by shadows cast by neighboring buildings so that the shading is only possible when the sun is shining over the neighboring building and when it is actually needed. Adjustable driving positions when the conditions in the sun control are met. You can see them here. The height of the sun can be set in the automatic sled position menu. For example, the sled tracking is now set, with sled tracking depending on the height of the sun, and the sled is positioned accordingly. When the sun is flat on the horizon, as in this example, the sled is closed. When the sun is high, the sled is opened. The internal temperature lock or release is made here by selecting the sensor. From an indoor temperature of more than 24 degrees on, as here in our example, if all other conditions are met, like brightness, direction of the sun, height of the sun, the shading would be then positioned. In the night closing menu, which is an important aspect in residential construction or also in administrative buildings. For example, to show a nice uniform image from the outside thanks to the same positioning of the blinds and the slats. For this purpose, a lux value for twilight can be set in the main settings menu. In the rain automatic menu, there's the option to move to a position in which the blinds are cleaned by the rain in order to save some of the cleaning effort. We all know that blinds can get dirty pretty quickly, and why not implement a function that helps us cleaning them? Time closing is combined with night closing via an OR function. In this example, we have time from Monday to Friday from 10 p.m. to 7 p.m. Of course, sometimes on the weekend we would like to sleep out, and who likes to get to being waken up by blinds that open up at 7 in the morning? For that example, we just set the time from Saturday to Sunday from 11 p.m. to 10 a.m. The driving position for time and night closing is freely adjustable. There's no sled position for roller shutters, which is why it is practical to select a driving position of 90% for possible ventilation at night. The outside temperature lock is set to on by default. The automatic shading function would not be carried out if the outside temperature was below 5 degrees. The reason for that is pretty simple. In most of the warranty conditions of the blind manufacturers, 5 degrees is specified as the limit for use. What should happen when the outside temperature falls below the set value can be easily set in the outside temperature behavior menu. Time opening can be used to deactivate the automatic shading at a certain time. Frost alarm can be activated, and the settings for this can be made in the general settings page. We're going to have a look at the general settings page further on the presentation. In the wind sensor menu, the connected wind sensor is currently displayed as the main sensor. If more wind sensors were connected to the system, those would be displayed to the right of it. The delay for triggering the wind alarm can be freely set here using the controller. In the wind alarm menu item, the speed that triggers a wind alarm can be set. The function can of course also be deactivated for hangings that do not require a wind alarm at all. The automatic reset is a very important point because it decides what should happen after manual operation. In this example, the automatic system would be activated again after 60 minutes. Using the feedback from the bus to switch from automatic to manual means that the automatic is deactivated as soon as manual operation is performed. This is helpful so that an automatic command is not executed shortly after manual operation. Twilight can be found under the general settings, which we're going to have a look right now, with the option of setting twilight values from 1 to 200 lux. Retraction and extension delays can be set in movement delays. There are 24 usable time switch channels. Time switch events can trigger impulses via times in order to switch to comfort, standby, or frost protection, for example. Night recooling is used for natural ventilation. For example, in the nights in summer, windows are opened to use the coolness of the night to cool down buildings during the night. This is an aspect which also has some energy saving potential. The conditions for the frost alarm can also be set in the general settings. Driving limits, for example, allows windows only to be opened by the automatic up to 30% in winter. That is really helpful for rooms so that they don't cool out too quickly in winter. Wind delays determine how long the automatic system is blocked after a wind alarm has been triggered. In addition, the automatic reset times can be set here, as in our example from before, 60 minutes. Let's have a look what is needed for a quick start with the CasaConnect set. In order to reduce the integration effort, we have generated complete packages for this. Complete for us means even that no ETS is required to get started. The sets are completely pre-configured and the components are ready addressed and ready to go. Individual settings, like customer-specific settings, as explained more detail in the practical example, can be made directly on the CasaConnect. The customer or the end user don't even need to touch the ETS in order to make some minor changes. In addition, support can be provided via our remote diagnosis tool, and control via the smartphone app can also be used immediately after installation. We are talking about a KNX standard in operation, which can nevertheless be expanded in the ETS by an integrator or by the user himself. The configuration of the starter set is included in the scope of delivery, so no extra cost except as the set. In the following, we're going to take a look at what an application example with the CasaConnect set can look like. Our sets are available in two versions. There is the set 10 and the set 20. On the one hand, there is the CasaConnect as the control center. The individual room sensors for climate, presence, smoke, water, and weather data are also included in the sets. Moreover, actuators for light, heating, sun protection, windows, and fans are also within the package. Last but not least, the power supplies for the KNX bus, as well as for the weather stations and the CasaConnect are also included. Let's take a closer look. So first of all, the CasaConnect as the centerpiece of the course. Of course, it is included in both sets. For the individual room controllers, we have our color KNXT. So each room controller basically stands for a main room. In the set 10, there are 4 main rooms and therefore 4 room controllers. In the set 20, there are 8 main rooms possible with 8 room controllers. Also included are 2 or 5 presence detectors, depending on the set size. Those can be seen as combined sensors with temperature, humidity, brightness, and of course the presence. Smoke alarm devices are also part of the set, with 3 or 5 pieces, as well depending on the set size. Within the package, there's also our leakage sensor. In the set 10, there's 1, and in the set 20, there are 2 leakage sensors. Finally, the weather station you already know from our introductory example. The sets contain 2 multifunction actuators with 8 drives or 3 actuators with 12 drives. There are also 1 or 2 switch actuators with 8 or 16 consumers. 1 or more light controllers are also included in the set to control 4 or 8 lightning groups. Finally, 1 or 2 heating/cooling actuators are included with 4 or 8 controllers. A KNX supply with integrated IP router is included as a standard system device. A 24-volt DC power supply is required to supply the CasaConnect and the weather station. Finally, once again, the overview regarding the functionality of the CasaConnect set. The area of application can be used almost anywhere due to the expandability. With our solution, we enable a high degree of automation with an inexpensive solution with little to almost no integration effort for your KNX project. Thank you very much for your attention, and I am looking forward to your comments and your feedback on our solution. I wish you a great time at the KNXperience 2021.